Sometimes it feels like the noise around us just keeps growing, making it hard to catch a quiet moment. This is 10 Better Minutes, a podcast that shares recent real-life stories, offering a steadier view of the world. Here, you will find moments that remind us the world's complexities include kindness and care, even alongside challenges. Over the next few minutes, you will hear about people and places where calm acts of generosity still quietly happen. We will begin with a story about a small moment in Muskogee, Oklahoma, where a dropped grocery bag turned into a larger community effort that continues to help people in need. Alan Thompson and his wife were delivering groceries in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and one small moment turned into something way bigger. A bag slipped, and Fruit Loops spilled out in the middle of the day. Their little helper, a boy named Red, looked at the cereal like it was pure treasure. He danced for about 2 minutes joyfully and completely, as if someone had handed him a bright, safe piece of the world. Alan saw that reaction, and it landed in his chest. Instead of keeping the good feeling to himself, he asked people nearby to donate groceries. He made it simple, inviting them to leave food on his front porch rather than giving money. You know how it goes when you wonder if anyone will actually show up. One Saturday, the answer arrived fast. His porch was filled with groceries. That is how the miracle crew began. What started as one man sharing a small moment of joy became a community effort that helped families get the support they needed. Over time, the group established a resource center and the help expanded beyond food and clothing. People could also find connections to mental health resources, employment opportunities, and other services. What I love most is how trust travels. Red danced for a cereal, Alan noticed, and then the whole neighborhood answered. It is a reminder that kindness can begin with something tiny and still grow into real, steady care for other people. There is something quietly powerful about everyday people knowing what to do, right when a moment feels too big. Today, we are looking at one of those stories, rooted in kindness and training. Oliver Webb was only 6 when he began choking on a peppermint at the Mall of Monroe in Michigan on July 18th. His mother was nearby, but not there yet, and Oliver turned unable to breathe. Then his 10-year-old brother, Hudson Webb, noticed what was happening and moved fast. Hudson alerted a bartender named Devin Forrest, who worked at Dirty Birdie and was also a manager there. Devin did not freeze. He stayed calm and rushed over, ready from something he had chosen to learn. Just a month earlier, the owner had helped Devin become CPR certified. Now, with steady focus, Devin held Oliver over a garbage can and stayed with him until the peppermint was dislodged and Oliver could breathe again. A near 2 weeks later, the Webb family returned to Dirty Birdie. They came to do what mattered most. They thanked Devin in person, not with grand speeches, but with the simple certainty of relief and gratitude. This story reminds me that trust in people is not a vague feeling. Sometimes it looks like one child noticing, one adult answering the call, and one trained hand doing what it was taught to do. When that alignment happens, hope becomes real, in the most ordinary place of all. When wildfires sweep through a community, the needs get simple and immediate. A place to refuel, a chance to wash up, and gear that holds up on long shifts. In Spokane, one local bootmaker responded in a way that turned its own headquarters into a steady help center. The fires in the Spokane area burned through more than 10,400 acres and destroyed about 900 structures, and tens of thousands of people were forced to evacuate. On August 2nd, J.K. Boots opened its headquarters for firefighters who were working the front lines. They could get hot coffee and hot food, wash up, cool off, and rest. The company also donated its profits to support relief, and it set up an incident command post at Met Spokane High School so coordination could happen close to where people needed it most. Then came the boots, because well-worn footwear is not a small thing when you are moving through ash and rough terrain. J.K. Boots began by aiming to provide 50 pairs of free wildland fire boots. As the effort grew, the company created a public option through its website, Sponsor a Firefighter, priced at $624.99 per pair. Supporters could add encouraging messages, and additional firefighters received brand new boots as bulk donations and volunteer distribution expanded from the school base. What I love here is how trust in people turns urgency into action. One neighborhood business offered practical care, and it became a doorway for the wider community to step in, help, and keep showing up. When you're trying to finish a degree, one of the biggest questions is simple. Where will you sleep tonight? And will you be able to focus tomorrow? Grace Pavlock knew she needed stability to study public policy at the University of Mount St. Vincent in the Bronx. As a rising senior, she faced a recurring risk of homelessness, and she could not rely on staying with family. She also worried that her financial aid would not cover room and board, especially once classes began and expenses added up. She needed more than good intentions. She needed a real plan she could count on, day after day, semester after semester. That plan came through the university connecting her to Dax House. Dax House is a year-round residence for housing insecure college women, charging $250 a month for a private room and offering a permanent address for services and hands-on case management. The residence opened on August 13, 2024 at Rosary Hall with a ribbon cutting. For Grace, that meant she could attend full-time with less constant worry about food and housing. Her time could go back to school, not survival. During the summer, she spent many hours at Dax House updating her resume for fall internships. She also put that support to work by interning for Broadridge and serving as a social media intern for DePaul, USA. Beyond internships, she stayed engaged on campus, taking part in programs and leadership roles. Stable housing with real guidance did not just open doors. It helped Grace step through them steadily into her next chapter. There is something quietly thrilling about watching a comeback take shape, not in headlines, but in the steady rhythm of nesting, feeding, and growing wings, strong enough to leave the safety of a familiar place. This is one of those stories, and it feels like hope you can actually picture. At Photo Wildlife Park in County Cork, staff announced that a white-tailed sea eagle chick hatched on April 13th and then went on to successfully fledge. The young eagle was raised with care from hatching through fledging, supported by the park staff and the steady presence of its resident parents, Aine and Tony. Jess Hodnett, the park's native species conservation officer, shared that the parents did a great job, and it is easy to see why that matters. When a chick makes it to the stage of flight, it is not just a single win. It is proof that the cycle of life is working again in real time. This was also the first chick of the species born at the park in more than a decade. And beyond the fences of FODA, the bigger recovery story continues. More than 200 white-tailed sea eagles have been released since 2007, and Ireland is now considered self-sustaining. It is a hopeful reminder that conservation is often practical before it becomes poetic, and that when the right support meets dedicated parent birds, the sky can start to look promising again. As always, I have a practical little reset for you, something you can use right away to stay steady and find more ease in the middle of real life. Today's tip is about what to say when someone insists everything is getting worse. Here is a simple script you can borrow. I hear you, and that sounds heavy. Start with acknowledgement. When you mirror what they feel, you are not arguing with them, and you are not trying to talk them out of it. Then try this. What part feels the worst today? Ask a gentle question that narrows the focus. People often say everything is worse because it is safer than naming the specific fear, loss, or frustration they are carrying. If you want a grounding line, say, it may be worse in some ways, and we can still look for one small thing that is working. Keep it realistic. No forced positivity, just a doorway back to agency. And if they keep spiraling, you can offer, "Do you want solutions or do you want company?" That one question gives them control and helps you show up in the way that actually helps. Your goal is not to win the conversation. It is to help them feel understood, then gently steer toward what is still within reach. Well, friends, we made it to the end of today's episode, and I am grateful you spent a few minutes with me. If all the headlines have been feeling heavy, I hope this offered something steadier to carry with you, like the quieter truth that decency still shows up every day, and people still choose kindness, problem-solving, and care even when it does not get much attention. Before you go, if you have a good news story link or a local positive thing that you think more people should know about, please share it in the comments. I would love to read it, and others might find it helpful too. This is Ian Rhodes with 10 Better Minutes. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.